Hey YouTubers, welcome back to my review of the Exorcist TV series. Well, here we are at what may or may not be the end of season 1 or the series. I gotta say, when I started watching the show, I was a little biased. I'm a big fan of the movie and the novel. I didn't think I'd like the show, but as the chapters progressed, I got a little bit more and more invested. I do think they could have done a few things differently, and maybe got a little closer to what was going on in the movie or the novel, but let's take a look at chapters 9 and 10.
If you haven't seen chapter 9 or chapter 10, you may want to take a moment to click the red button on the right side of the screen, as there will be spoilers ahead. Chapter 9 begins with the brief investigation of Chris MacNeil's death. Is anyone really going to believe that she ended up with her head facing backwards after falling down a short flight of steps? In the Friedkin film, Burke Dennings was found dead in the same manner, except his fall consisted of 75 steps and 3 landings. Did it happen in the fall? As quoted from the film, possible, however, unlikely. The questioning is cut short after Angela reveals herself to the integrated Superintendent Jaffe. This is when we witness a surreal flashback from Chapter 8, Angela's silent integration. I definitely wish there were more ethereal moments like this. You could witness Captain Howdy's puppetry at play. Question: why couldn't Jaffe sense the presence of Angela's demon beyond physical contact? The family slowly begins to feel something's different about Angela, things being off-kilter. Since Casey's returned home, she realizes her mother's behavior is all too familiar. Meanwhile, Marcus and the Regos are compiling clues to another puzzle that would reveal more to the Pope's assassination plot. With Bennett missing, Marcus feels that the committee may be onto them. Is this a fear to be realized? After the Regos catch Father Simon's evil eye, Marcus finds that his associates are turning up dead, including Mother Bernadette. Marcus decides to take action on Simon only to end up his prisoner, and a little wiser to the fact that integrated Angela was the one who killed the members of the convent. Eventually, Angela makes her presence known to the demonic planning committee, walking in on their private meeting like Darth Vader. At this point, we learn from Simon that the demon integrated with Angela is formerly known as Pazuzu, and that Pazuzu's a high-ranking demon as he enforces his authority with the dark side of the Force. It's funny, why didn't Pazuzu use his chokehold when he possessed Casey? Was integration necessary? And why don't we know the other demons by name? Again, Pazuzu seemed to show very little involvement with the Pope plot. He has his own agenda and presses his status on the others. It's as if he is simply a passerby. Maria, on the other hand, is very involved, but hasn't made the grade, and never will according to Pazuzu. So what's happening with Father Tomas? Tomas seems oblivious to anything different about Angela. After a fine meal with the Rance family, he later has a friendly chat with Henry about his well-being. It's here Henry relates to Tomas that ever since the accident, he's been picking up his own frequency. Lately, it's been repeating the number 162. Is this another message for Tomas through Henry? Does Tomas believe it to be a message or clue? Maybe Tomas believes the ordeal with the Rance family is over. Even though he feels unworthy, he's been offered the St. Bridget parish. The church apparently is aware of Tomas's situation with Jessica and is ready to handle it for him. Sweep it under the carpet. Is Tomas being distracted with all these things? Is this part of the plan to win his obedience? Tomas doesn't seem to have a clue until he interrupts Tara from her reading and asks about the feather. The red feather left in Chris MacNeil's book, and page 162 comes to mind. What comes after is one of the best scenes in the series, bursting in on Angela after she hijacks the Rance family. And it all comes to this: Father Tomas facing off with Pazuzu, or should I say, Darth Angela.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
Yeah, in a way, I can see Marcus being like Qui-Gon Jinn, and Father Tomas a young Obi-Wan. I'm not sure who'd play Yoda, though. Definitely the Angela Pazuzu being like Darth Vader. So for maybe the second time, Angela Thing presses the idea that she's integrated, and there's nothing that can be done. Is she trying to convince Tomas of this, knowing that it may in fact be reversible somehow?
There is no escape. Don't make me destroy you.
Tomas gets knocked out and while unconscious finds himself in his grandmother's house, along with a dark version of Marcus to keep him company. This alternate Marcus has Tomas confront his failures, tries to have him admit that there's no hope and commits suicide. As for the real Marcus, he finds himself tied to a chair along with Father Bennett. Yes, Father Bennett is still alive. Both of them are given a choice by Simon to join his circle of friends accepting integration or die. With the Pope's procession about to start, Simon blows the demonic ash into the air so as to choose a new host and leaves with his henchmen. The disgruntled Maria is left behind because, as Simon put it, the oxen pull the plow. He doesn't sit at the farmer's table. So who will the demonic ash choose between the two defeated priests? Or does it have a third choice? After Marcus taunts Maria, comparing her to the Renfield character from Dracula, he and Bennett show off their fighting skills and escape as Maria finally gets what she wants.
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
Now you gotta love the comeback Cat has for Pazuzu. His ass handed to him by a 12-year-old and chucked out a window. And it's at that moment when his act of violence is halted. Pazuzu realizes there still is a bit of Reagan unaccounted for within Angela. So we get to enjoy another surreal moment in someone's head. A grown-up Reagan hiding in a bedroom from 40 years ago. I kinda get the impression of Nightmare on Elm Street and The Shining in this sequence. Pazuzu can't get Reagan to open the door, so slowly punishes her family members. While Pazuzu is preoccupied with removing Reagan from one room, Tomas is struggling to remove himself from another. In my opinion, this is where Tomas comes full circle. In chapter 1, he had a sermon dealing with God's calling in which you drop everything and start walking. He hasn't quite done that yet, but when it comes to his near suicide and nearly abandons his hope, he admits to himself and Demon Marcus all his sins and missteps, but he also remembers his strengths and realizes his calling. This is when he wakes up and starts walking. The battle begins and it slowly becomes a family affair. Even the inner Reagan finds the strength to overcome her fear and fight back. She taunts the demon and eventually pounds Pazuzu into the floor. So, with all the noise, wreckage, and ruckus, why hasn't anyone called the cops? And then there's the attempt on the Pope's life. With all the planning involved, I was expecting more. In a nutshell, the plan consists of the Pope's car stopping, everyone being devastated by a piercing siren noise, and Simon walking up to the car. Just that simple, yeah. And how was he going to kill him? It doesn't seem like the people in the background were affected. Why didn't they do anything? The morning star sends his greetings. And then Marcus kills Simon in front of the frightened Pope Sebastian. That was easy. Marcus walks away and isn't even stopped by anyone. It's not like people were paralyzed and blinded, especially after Simon's throat was cut. Well, okay, a free pass for Marcus. Now around the same time, Pazuzu is on his last leg and is about to lose. And as if it was his final act against Angela, he snaps her back, paralyzing her, but not killing her. "You can't do this! You have no right! You're just a damn woman!" Pazuzu loses and Angela's eyes return to normal. As the Rance family are about to leave their Chicago residence, Marcus and Casey chat on the front steps, which seem reminiscent to the ending of the film where the MacNeils leave their residence in DC. But in this case, unlike her mother 40 years ago, Casey is able to thank the priest that helped her and gain insight. So with that said, is it all over? Is it as safe as Angela now feels? Well, no. It's like what Simon said in chapter 9, and another will take my place, and the ponies go round and round. The newly integrated Maria has stepped forward and is about to move the group onto bigger things. The final scenes of Chapter 10 make a future season seem inevitable. Is there going to be a Season 2? It could happen. As a fan of Blatty's work, it's difficult to view the series objectively and not compare it to the novel or film. The series is in its own Exorcist universe. Accepting this made it easier for me to enjoy. What do you think of the series? Leave a comment below. Thank you for watching my video. Don't forget to hit the like button and please subscribe as there will be more videos to come. Thanks.